Honda S2000, Subaru WRX STI wagon, the mid-engine Toyota MR2, the Wankel-powered RX-8, and the legendary off-road, the FJ Cruiser. Sadly, we don't know if we'll ever see the return of classic Japanese cars like these. In this new era of electrification and crossovers, what can be done to bring some pizzazz, some excitement back to Japanese cars? Do we need nameplate revivals like these legends? Or are we due for some all-new models to take us into the future? Today, we're gonna discuss the top 6 models that would dominate here in 2021, only if they were available. Getting right into the juicy bits, let's start with Lexus. Coming in at number 6, Lexus needs a fully electric vehicle. We know they're going to be fine with hybrids and plug-in hybrids in the near future, especially with the NX, the RX. They need a, I'm gonna get rid of these. Cramping my arms a bit. They need a fully electric vehicle. The luxury brand, the luxury division of Toyota, it would be perfect for them here in the United States, push their latest technology, their latest powertrains in electrification with a fully electric vehicle. We all know that they can do it. They have as much electrification prowess and history and know-how as anyone else in the industry. Here we are. We don't get the Lexus UX 300e here in the States, and that's okay because it's kind of underpowered and the range isn't that great considering how much it costs, but we need a full electric vehicle. What would it be? Well, it'd probably be something like the Polestar 2. It's like a raised up car, kind of like an SUV, kind of like a crossover, kind of like a sedan. It reminds me of like a Subaru Legacy GT that has a lift kit on it of some sort. And Lexus has teased this vehicle. We know that they have trademarked a nameplate called the RZ450E. Anything that has 450 in the Lexus lineup, well, there's not a whole lot of models. Only one that I can think of is 450H from the GS and the RX 450Hs, and the power between those two depends, but let's say somewhere between 300 to 400 horsepower. I know that's a huge range, but that's where this RZ450 is likely to be in terms of power. And guys, spreadsheet time already. Let's go strong early on in the video. Here's my estimations for an RZ450E based off the motors that we have been brought to us by Blue Nexus, which is pretty much a Toyota company. I'm not going to go too deep into that today, but we know that we could easily see a 300 plus horsepower RZ450E with a very impressive 400 pound-feet of torque, close thereof. And of course, it would be all-wheel drive with 2 separate motors, one on the front axle, one in the rear axle. We need this vehicle, Lexus. Bring it to us here in 2021. I don't think the chances are good, but if it was available, it would sell really, really well for them. When I was selling for Lexus, if you guys didn't know, if you're new to the channel, I used to be a Lexus master sales consultant. There was demand absolutely for EVs. I would get questions often about, hey, when is Lexus bringing their next or their first ever electric vehicle? I'm not going to buy another Lexus until there's an electric vehicle. I got asked that quite often. They could definitely benefit from having an electric vehicle as soon as possible from the brand. Don't know if it'll be the RZ450E. Also, rumors are suggesting the RX 500E or whatever they decide to call it could be coming down the hatch fully electric. They already teased it with the Direct 4 presentation last month. Guys, if you enjoy my content on the channel where I focus largely on Japanese, Korean, and EVs, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you're not, and make sure to stick around till the end because I'm going to go over some honorable mentions that are definitely a long shot from ever happening, but we'd love to see them happen. Coming in at number 5, bring back the Honda Element, the big, boxy, quirky, unique, weird vehicle that sells really well in the aftermarket now because it just provides such a unique experience and has a very unique culture built around it here in 2021. But here's how they make it more relevant. They make it a hybrid only. Toyota's doing that with a lot of their vehicles. They make it a hybrid only here, and this would give them a lot of benefits in terms of electrification and electrifying accessories. So we all know that the Honda Element is used largely for many people as a lifestyle vehicle. People will take it into the woods, they'll take it to the beaches, all these outdoor activities. And if you have a hybrid, it's much easier to electrify accessories. You want to plug in an electric grill, you want to plug in an air pump so you can inflate rafts, that sort of thing. You guys would catch my drift, and you'd probably think of a million things they could use electrification for to power their accessories.
I don't know that one.
Thanks, Alexa. Now, what hybrid powertrain would they use? Because they don't really have anything in their lineup. If we go see their current hybrids right now, the CR-V hybrid, I think it would be too powerful. Now you're saying, Kirk, 212 horsepower is not that impressive, but you got to look at the original Honda Element. When I drove it, it seemed extremely underpowered. It has about 160, 165 horsepower, something like that. But with electrification, it's going to give it a lot more torque off the line. And I think that's what this vehicle needs, especially if the people are going to use it for an all-wheel drive lifestyle off-roading in certain circumstances as well. Honda Insight. I think this would be the most logical source of the engine. 1.5 liter, 4-cylinder, no surprise there, with 151 combined horsepower. Honda Element is also a very thrifty vehicle, so they need to have a very good price point. It needs to have very good fuel economy, and I think having a hybrid doesn't make it too expensive. They could make it a plug-in hybrid, but I think it just prices itself too high for its designated market. So maybe have a front-wheel drive as a base around $25K. You have a $28,000 all-wheel drive hybrid base around $28K. If they want to put in plug-in hybrid, it'd be probably in the mid-30s. Again, you would get rebates, but I don't know how logical that would be for the potential market that they're targeting. Make sure you keep the panel roof and the accessory tent out the back of the hatch, and you got yourself a successful Honda Element here in 2021. Coming in at number 4 is the Subaru Baja. The truck market is absolutely on fire right now, and Subaru, with its off-road heritage, off-road identity, all-wheel drive identity, would do amazing if they brought back the Baja or the Brat, but I don't see the Brat happening. We'll talk about that later. All you have to do, modify the Legacy platform based off the Subaru global platform now. They all kind of share the same thing, but just modify the Outback, make it available with a topper as well, and you guys have the return of the Baja. If you're not familiar with the Baja, it was available in 2002 to 2006. It did not sell well. One of those reasons it didn't sell well was weird colors, silver and yellow, and the lower panels were plastic. It wasn't nearly as rugged as the vehicle should have been. Give it some really good off-road clearance, or I should say ground clearance. 9+ inches would be great. Powertrains, we're talking probably the base engine. Make it available with the 6-speed manual, that would be amazing. But base engine, 2.5 liter boxer engine, the FB25, with around 180 horsepower or so. And then you have the optional turbocharged 4-cylinder, the FA24F, with 260 horsepower and over 270 pound-feet of torque. That would definitely raise a lot of eyebrows and get a lot of people who are big fans of Subaru wanting a truck with a nice topper as an option to just fit their lifestyles. Like we talked about the Honda Element, there's still a market there for that. And of course, there would be the Baja market because the pickup market is hot. Don't let the Hyundai Santa Cruz have the entire market to itself as a new SUV based truck. So we know the Honda Ridgeline is kind of SUV based, but this needs to be a little bit smaller. It needs to be very, very off-road capable, have a nice lift on it, and this thing could sell very well for Subaru. Keeping with the off-road trend, coming in at number 3 would be the return of the Nissan Xterra. Okay, we know the 4Runner is not going anywhere, but the Broncos and the Jeeps are coming hard for this off-roading, again, lifestyle-like market where people live out of their cars a lot, and the Nissan Xterra could do some amazing things off-road. If you're not from America, you might not know this vehicle, but we had 2 generations that lasted for 16 years. The last year was 2015. This thing is reliable. It always looked cool, especially the first generation, and it's ironic because the Xterra just came back for the Middle East. However, it's a 3-row crossover. It's based off the Navara, which is not a bad thing. It's body on frame. It's definitely capable of off-road, but it's really, really big. And that one in the Middle East, it has a 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated, with only 165 horsepower. It does have a 7-speed, so you're not getting stuck with a CVT and a large body on frame SUV. Now, the new Xterra, of course, have a different engine. Maybe you put the VC turbo in it, or make it the old reliable 3.6 liter V6 that's coming in the new Frontier. We have it on the existing Frontier for the last model year, but it has an impressive 310 horsepower. Give it the new 9-speed automatic transmission, locking differentials, maybe offer a 6-speed manual as well, and the Xterra could be right there at the top, competing with the Broncos, the 4Runners, the Jeeps of this world. Coming in at number 2, this one's a little weird, but I think it makes sense. The Acura ZDX. Most of you probably aren't aware of this vehicle. It's kind of a unicorn. They only sold a little over 7,000 units from 2010 to 2013. It looks like a spaceship. There's nothing else in the Acura lineup that I think comes close. The closest thing might be the Accord Cross Tour. I think it was a Cross Tour. It's been a while since that Honda Cross Tour was out, but it was impressive. It had the first ever 6-speed automatic for Acura. It had a really nice, powerful 3.7 liter V6 with around 300 horsepower. And of course, it was available with super handling all-wheel drive. Why would the ZDX come back? Well, Acura has no more electrification in their lineup besides the NSX, and that's a supercar with a $150,000 price tag. They killed the RLX here in the United States, so that means there goes the sport hybrid in that as well. And they killed the hybrid in the 4th generation MDX, which I'll be reviewing soon, so make sure you're subscribed. Stay tuned because I'll give you guys my impressions of that. But yeah, they have no hybrids. They have no electrification here in the United States. And I'm wearing my Gundam shirt because Honda and GM are supposed to be working on a lot of things together, but one of those things is supposed to be, or two of those things are 2 electric vehicles for Honda or Acura. We don't know. The rumor is it's not going to be till 2025. That is way too late, in my opinion, to come out with your first ever electric vehicle for your luxury brand. Like I said earlier in this video, Lexus needs to have an electric vehicle here in the United States as soon as possible. Acura can do the same thing. However, it can't be based off of GM's, Gundams, whatever. It's too late. 2025 is too late. What do? Well, they just unveiled, Honda anyways, just unveiled the SUV-E concept for the Chinese market that's supposed to be coming out this year here in 2021. I think it looks pretty cool. It looks a lot like the Ford Mustang E, and that's not a bad thing. We don't have any specifications. Of course, it would be all-wheel drive, but we don't have any specs. Acura, if you could bring it here, give it some Diamond Pentagon grille, some jewel headlights, give it 400 horsepower, 300 plus miles of range, give it a sticker of under $60,000, and Acura, you could be at the top, or at least considered at the top of the electrification race alongside of all the other competitors out there. And moving on to number 1. Make sure to stay after number 1 because I'll go over some honorable mentions. But number 1, Toyota needs to bring back, not the FJ, we would like that. Drum roll. I'm making this pretty dramatic. They need to bring in the GR Corolla. The rest of the world gets to lick their chops over the GR Yaris. Amazing 1.6 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder with about 265 horsepower depending on the market you get it in. It has all-wheel drive standard, 6-speed manual only. And Toyota has been teasing about a hot hatch for the United States market for some time now, and it's been very, very eerily quiet. We just need Toyota to find a way to make this GR Corolla as tasty as that GR Yaris. I know it would be bigger for our market, but it would still have almost the same fun driving characteristics. Its launching prowess, its off-road prowess, as it's based off of a rally car. This vehicle would absolutely smoke the market here in 2021, and I know you guys would definitely be interested. Heck, Toyota knows they have a screamer on their hands. As the GR Yaris is selling out worldwide, they're probably selling more than they thought they would. Bring the GR Corolla here. Give us that same 1.6 liter 3-pot engine, turbocharged, 270 or so horsepower, 6-speed manual. I could talk about this vehicle all day, but until Toyota announces it or brings it here, it's a wasted opportunity. If you made it this far in the video, haven't smashed the like button, go ahead and do that. Subscribe. Probably already said that before. Honorable mentions. This was pretty fun, as you guys wrote in one of my posts earlier this week on what vehicles you would like to see return here to the United States. Well, let's start with Honda S2000. I don't see it coming anytime soon. The only way it comes back, as I made a video on this, is if they team up with the Gundam or GM and they make it based off the Camaro platform or a Cadillac platform. I just don't see it happening, but I'd love to be wrong on that. Prelude was one of my favorite cars growing up. I love the looks of the Honda Prelude. Just don't think it's ever going to return. Coupes are dying. Coupes are really, really suffering in sales here in the United States. And lastly, what about the Acura RSX? Well, again, coupes. I don't think they're going to have a coupe return. Could they come out with a 4-door RSX? Yes, but I don't see it happening. Same thing with the Integra, being that the RSX is a successor to that car. Moving on to Toyota FJ Cruiser, we'd love to have it. I just don't think it's going to happen because the 4Runner is getting a redesign in 2022. Make sure to watch that video. Don't see the FJ ever coming back as much as we would like to see it. TJ Cruiser would be really cool. None of you guys have mentioned this. The TJ Cruiser would be Toyota's version of the Honda Element I just talked about, fully hybrid. You can remove the seats. You can do a lot of fun things with the TJ Cruiser, be also a great work vehicle, but we'll see. We haven't heard anything from Toyota about it, the TJ Cruiser. What about from Lexus? We'll bring back the GS. We'd all love to see it. It's never going to happen, especially as they're killing rear-wheel drive front-engine vehicles pretty much entirely. Other than the LC and the LS, I don't see, well, in the Mirai, but that's a Toyota, but I don't see the GS ever coming back. They're just going to electrify with a direct 4 setup, put a fat, torquey electric motor in the back of the ES going forward, and that essentially replaces the GS with a lot more customization, a lot more fuel efficiency, get some full plug-in hybrid action out of that, and people will be quick to forget about the GS. Some people. Some people. What about the Mazda RX-9? Well, we would love to see a successor to this guy and the RX-7. I just don't think it's going to happen in 2021. Maybe an announcement of some sort, but definitely not going to see it because it's going to be based on the new platform, front engine, inline 6, rear-wheel drive platform that won't be available, I don't think, till the end of 2022 in the Mazda 6, in the CX-5, CX-9, and maybe some other products as well. So RX-9, no shot of making it here in 2021. What about Mitsubishi? Well, we know the Lancer is not coming back because they've just advertised the Evo E Evolution E or the E Evolution crossover. Rest in peace, Lancer. I don't think you're ever going to come back. 3000 GT, same thing. Would we love to see those as Japanese car, fans and enthusiasts, to see the Evos, the Lancers, the original Eclipse coming out, the 3000 GTs, the VR4s? We'd love to see all that, but the golden era for Mitsubishi is gone, and we don't know how long they're going to be able to ride this out here in the United States, even though they have a pretty compelling product stack upcoming for the next year or two. And what about the Subaru Brat? That vehicle lasted from the, I think, late 70s to mid 80s. Definitely more your traditional pickup sort of thing, body on frame, imported from Japan. I don't think we'll ever see another body on frame Subaru, sadly. That's just the way it is. The Baja, to me, would be enough for them going forward if they wanted to reintroduce a pickup truck. And guys, I think that is the end of my list. Holy cow, I've been talking a lot today. I'm excited for the idea of any of these vehicles coming in 2021. What's the chances? Realistically, not very good for most of them coming here in 2021. They could do it in some cases, especially with the GR Corolla. Nissan Xterra for sure could definitely make it in 2021. Subaru Baja, maybe. Honda Element for sure. A Lexus EV, they could easily do it, but what's the chances? I don't think the chances of any of these are that great, to be honest. And guys, I'm going to cut myself off. I'll see you in the comments on what vehicles you would like to see, whether it's an old nameplate being brought back from the dead or a new vehicle, an electric vehicle for each brand. You guys, I'll see you in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, God bless you for doing that, because you listened to me talk for way too long. And I'll have a wonderful day watching football. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day doing what you guys like to do. Take care of yourselves and peace out.